I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Lookback. This is where I take a look at reviews I did a year, 5 years, and 10 years ago. So we'll start with last year. I took a look at Among Thieves, which was a winner of a design contest and was given away at the Geekway. It's a social deduction game, but it's really lacking compared to other ones. It has really pretty artwork. They tried to put it in the Resistance universe. It just didn't have a lot of interesting decisions. Fedora Gardens. This is another one, beautiful game where you're trying to move your piece down this path basically as far as you can, putting these tiles in there. Again, some interesting mechanisms, but the game as a whole just fell flat for me. Wrasse. This is a game about matching parrots. It's a small little game, trying to see how many characteristics are the same. It's okay if you like that style of game. Tour Operator. This one was almost what I wanted. I mean, I love the theme of it as you are scheduling people and getting them to go across the oceans and land in different places and stay in hotels. A lot of cool concepts. At the end of the day, though, luck played a little too much part than I would prefer, but I did think there's a lot of good ideas in the game. No swap, no pay. Very simple game. And just basically switching bags back and forth. Especially works well with kids. I took a look at Time Stories again. So now we finished the final version of Time Stories. We went through every single scenario of Time Stories. I was able to get my complete view on it, and you can see that I initially rated Time Stories a 10 here, but it simply dropped to a 7. And in fact, some of the later ones way lower than that. But overall, it was a fun experience. But I think even though it's not that old Time Stories, we can start seeing that it's dated at this point in time. Kushi Express, a silly little game about putting shish kebabs together, dexterity, speed, kids-style game. Tiki, this was a Kickstarter, I believe, a 2-player abstract strategy game. Really beautiful pieces, some simplistic ideas, but some nice, I don't want to move this piece to set you up to move yours. I think it's a little bit of underrated gem. 10 Days in the USA. I took a look at the reprint of this game, which still, as of this video, has not yet reached a wide audience. The new printing, I hope that it does at some point because this is a great family-style game. Cupcake Empires. This one has really held over well for me. I just played it a few months ago. Really like this game about building a cupcake empire, about rolling dice and assigning them in different spots. I like the theme. I like the speed of the game. It plays really well. Master of Respect. What a great game this is. Hasn't got a lot of love, but this is a game in which you are placing workers. You have these different people in your dojo as you're getting them ready to send out to a tournament or to go do different tasks. Each worker in this game has different abilities and special things that they can do. Some really cool concepts, very asymmetrical, really fun. Valley of the King Deluxe. I love Valley of the Kings. The little ones just combined them all into one big box, which makes it really easy to pull everything out, to get together and play with a little bit extra stuff. Valley of the Kings, this is the biggest small deck builder there is. I used to call it the smallest big deck builder. Either way, it's a great, great game. And Circle the Wagons. This one has actually gone up for me. This little game from Button Shy, which I had not really put a lot of attention to Button Shy, but between this and Sprawlopolis, they're definitely on the board. This is a great 2-player game. I took a trip with my wife last year. We got to play this several times on that trip. 5 years ago, I took a look at Suburbia 5-Star. This is the second expansion for Suburbia, and while the first expansion was absolutely necessary, this one I thought was okay. It didn't really add a ton to me. It was fine. Some extra stuff for Suburbia, but I just didn't feel like this was a necessary expansion at all. Too Many Cinderellas, a bit of a kids game here, which is interesting. I have 2 games here about Cinderellas. And the other one is Spinderella. This one's about spiders. This one is actually pretty fun as you make this spider come down and catch things by manipulating levers and stuff. Spiders are kind of scary. This one's a cute spider, but a really great kids game. Chaosmos. 5 years ago, I took a look at this one. The idea of it's keep away, essentially. You're trying to find something and everyone's hunting for it, and it's this card that goes from envelope to envelope, and it's basically a big keep away style game. And chaos is definitely in the game, and I thought it was pretty fun. And Guns and Steel, this is another civilization game, sort of, kind of, as you build this pyramid of cards and you do different combos. I like this one. I have not played the new, I think there's a newer version of this that's come out since then, but I did enjoy the original one I played 5 years ago. 10 years ago, I played Stackery, which mixes the stock market with a dexterity game, which was pretty bad combo. I don't recommend it at all. The stars are right. This is from Steve Jackson about Cthulhu, but it's cute Cthulhu. It's a decent game. It's nothing that I would want to play again, probably. But the idea of putting out these cards and moving around to different orders, it was fine. Wealth of Nations 10 years ago. Man, what a great economic game. It's not, it's been years since I played it, so I don't know if my rating would go up or down, but the idea of there being a shared pool of resources and they get more expensive or not, an asymmetrical setup, if you like economic crunchiness, Wealth of Nations is for you. Then Zombie in My Pocket. This one I've dropped a bit, mostly because now I wouldn't be a fan of the packaging from Cambridge Games. This one, Cambridge Games really has one shining star, which is Glory to Rome. But this was one, it was a little quick, simple, you could play it solitaire or cooperative, and I think they remade it, Valley Games made it as Airborne in My Pocket. And then Horse Fever, a great racing game, so fun. They're remaking it, should be coming out soon. Unicorn Fever. Hopefully they've streamlined it a bit, but despite it being clunky and not very streamlined, I still love the game. It is a hilarious, fun racing game. Interestingly enough, these 5 reviews I just mentioned from 10 years ago were the last 5 reviews that I did in Korea. So it will actually be several weeks before you hear me talk about 10 years ago, because during the move, I wasn't doing a lot of reviews. But I just thought that was interesting. Alrighty, that is Look Back. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.